You like how you called that, Tony? You were right. It's like TV, but it's even more than that, right? Plato's Cave.
Of course. It's, yeah, very important. And
Yeah.
so is Maslow's law and all that.
Well, we're going in a similar direction for sure. But it's funny how Plato, he goes to all this trouble to make this analogy, and we could just be like, oh, bruh, look at your phone. It's like that. Like, hey, you notice how you're always like this, tapping on a screen all day long, and it's almost like you perceive the entire world through this. But the thing is, whatever's on this is just what someone else wants you to see. And it doesn't have to be some diabolical thing. It could just be simply to make money off of you or to make you think that they're cool or something, but it's a skewed view of reality. And therefore, it's not reality. I have people in my life where they refuse to look away from this thing no matter what. Even if there's something on TV, they're looking at this while they're supposedly watching the thing on TV. So we're on like another level now. And pretty much soon these are just going to be stuck to our heads. You don't even have to walk around anymore, right?
The way I heard Plato's cave was the helmet theory.
What do you mean the helmet theory?
The helmet theory is they paint a picture in the helmet, like a football helmet. They paint a picture on in it, and then they put it on you backwards. So all you see is the picture that they want you to see. Yeah. And until you take the helmet off or put it on the right way, you're not going to actually see what it is that you're supposed to see.
Yeah, so there's a ton of different analogies that we can use to explain that whole concept, but it's funny because we're already there. It's so easy to just be like, pretty soon it's just going to be VR for everything. Like, why wouldn't it be VR for everything? I mean, because you don't even have to leave your house anymore. Why would you even do that? That's not even safe. Like, just get all your food ordered in and maybe just get it in an IV, and then you can live everything you need to. Everything you need to experience can be just through these goggles, and then we'll get you like a little bed, and then it can like move around sometimes. But do you really need that? Just get a colostomy bag, and you're good to go. When people think of post-apocalyptic scenarios, they think of them like doing stuff like in the movies, like in Walking Dead and things like that. And really, it's just going to be them starving in their room because their mom didn't bring them their Mountain Dew and sandwich because their mom died from something, but they couldn't manage to get up to okay. So I'm not gonna go too much further with that, but it's going to be anticlimactic. We'll get there. There's going to be whole stuff on that later. It's fun. This is interesting, right? Are we having fun yet, guys? So until the end of this first essay, you guys are going to have a lot of material to go through. So just bear with it until the first essay is over. And then you're going to be happy that you did, because then all the other stuff is going to be easy because you'll have all the tools to do it. I mean, you're doing more complicated things, but you're given a little bit more time, a little bit more space to do them in. So right now you're like, damn, I had to do this handout and I had to do the reading response and the RLD notes. And then today it looks like I'm going to have to do the same thing. And you have even more videos this time, but the videos they're shorter ones. And then remember, if you watch these at time and a half or at double speed, I don't suggest double speed, but if you can speed them up, then speed them up. And if you hear something where you're like, oh crap, I kind of need to write that thing down, then go back for a second, slow it down, and then make sure you get it. But there is a lot you're going to get from this next one. I should probably show it to you. So we're over here. You've got your schedule. Always compare this. Like, there's a lot going on the Canvas week modules, but it is clear on the course outline at the back of the syllabus. So I do encourage you to look over there. It'll remind you of stuff like, oh, you need to claim an ad by midnight. And we're going to talk about that. I did want to show you the playlist. So for after class, we have 8 videos here. So if you look at this, the first 4 videos are going to be over the content of the readings that you guys covered for the reading response. Well, the first 3, and then you're going to get the ad analysis prompt. And remember, it used to be an essay. it still is an essay. It's just the points are not going to be killing you if you're not good at it. So first, consider this. So there's concepts in these 3 videos that are going to help you understand the kind of thing I'm asking you to look for in the ads. And then here you're getting the prompt, like where we're going over all the details more thoroughly. But I keep talking about it like it's an essay. It is, but you're really only writing 2 pages to help you understand what you're doing specifically for that. Always refer back to the prompt. So that's where the prompt is, obviously. The reason why I don't need to click on it because I already have it downloaded and it's right here. So here's the prompt. Always look to this. It's going to be different. You're really just doing like a stripped down essay for this. It's like going to be 2 pages, 500 words. It's not long. You're already writing 400 words for your reading responses. But what I'm asking you to do here is going to prepare you. By the time you're writing your essay 1, you're going to know exactly what I want from you and exactly what needs to be in your essay. So you're going to have this down. We're practicing here. So do this to the best of your ability, and you're going to have a bunch of other stuff that's going to help you along with that. So if you look here, you already did all that stuff before class. You've got the ad analysis prompt here. You've got all these other things that are going to help you. So the first part is going over what you're trying to do. And then these 4 videos here are going over how to do it. And so you know how you guys just did one worksheet. So you're going to have another worksheet to do with this one, but we're doing it in the class. Like, so you can watch this video and do the worksheet with the class. So topic sentences and paragraph unity. We go over the answers until the last page. The last page is all on you. If you watch that whole video, you'll get all the answers for these first 2 pages. What I encourage you to do, because I'm actually trying to get you guys to learn these concepts and you're trying to learn them, is that you actually struggle through it with the class. So like I say, pause the video or something like that. I ask the question. I suggest you pause it, try to figure it out for yourself, because if you just wait for the answers to plug these in so that you can get the 10 points for the worksheet, you're not actually getting the point of what's on the worksheet. All that being said, you should watch all of these videos. If you want to speed them up, go for it, but make sure that you are able to absorb everything in there, because trust me, it's going to help you. It does look like a lot, but if you think about it, it couldn't take more than 2 hours. And then you're actually getting assignments done at the same time. So notice 5 elements of body paragraph PDF. That's something we go over in one of the videos. There's nothing that you have to do for this one. It's just concepts that you need to understand in order to write good paragraphs. A lot of people write essays in a way where they wing it, right? You're just writing a paragraph until it gets 5+ sentences long, till it's long enough to fill up the pages. You can't do that for this class. I won't let you. You can do it. You won't get points for the material. Like I'm walking you through how to build paragraphs with actual content. And so if you don't do it in the way I ask you to do, which I ask you to do it in very clear ways, and it's going to help you actually say things that matter. Like, you will be happy after this, but you have to go through it, right? You have to actually figure out what I'm talking about here. So we go over what is needed in a body paragraph, and then you actually know what to put there. You won't have any issue building content, being able to make the page requirement if you understand what I want you to do in your body paragraphs. We walk through this. So you notice week 3 is available now. You'll see here, you actually have an outline due on Tuesday. It's worth 5 points. Not worth a lot, because the whole assignment, the finished piece, is worth 30 points. So this is only worth 5 points. But what this does, if you do this assignment, which you'll know how to do this assignment, if I click on this, you get to see this is what I want you to do in the assignment, right? I'm actually walking you through writing the finished assignment. So if you do this right, you're going to bring it into class on Tuesday, and we're going to go over what you're getting out of your ad. And then you're going to, on Thursday, you're going to submit your full ad analysis, but we're going to walk through this together. So long as you're willing to participate and do the work and think about all this stuff and make sure that you're doing it correctly, there should be no question in your mind that you did the assignment right and that you're going to get all the points for it, so long as you actually take it seriously. I grade people realistically, especially on assignments like the essay ones. Like, you get what you put into it. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, they tried. There's assignments where you get points for trying. Not these ones. These ones, you're getting points for what you actually give me. So the thing is, if you do all the other assignments to the best of your ability, by the time you give me that assignment, you shouldn't have to worry about it. You'll know that you did it right. You won't know if you did it right if you don't pay attention to any of the requirements or the videos where I'm telling you exactly what I want. And it's all meant to force you to do the thing the way you're supposed to do it. As you go through the videos, you'll see I'll throw up the PDF on the screen. It might be slightly different, like the topic sentences one. So on this one, it's going to ask you to put these sentences in the right order. And so in the classroom, I'm able to cut these up and let you do them on the desks together and figure it out. We can't do that. We don't have a classroom like that right now. But if you really want to do it that way, because I don't know, for me, it's hard to try and organize these and figure it out without moving them around. So if you're like me with that, you can actually print them out and cut them up yourself. Just know that, and I say it in the video, these numbers don't mean anything other than they're the number here. So long as you cut up each sentence individually, like this is, one sentence, then you can organize it yourself and then make it work for you. And trust me, it seems like a silly exercise. You're like, this sounds like something we did in elementary school. If you see why the sentences go in the order they go, you're going to realize a lot of things, like what coherence in a paragraph is and what transitional phrases and words are actually for. Like, they're not just something to add at the beginning of the paragraph and at the end of the paragraph. They are things that lead your reader so that they know exactly where you're going. And so trust me, please, when I say that this will actually help you. Plus, you get 10 points out of it. We are also going to go over thesis statements in one of the videos. You don't have to turn this one in. This is another one that you go over it in the video, and it will help you understand what the heck you're supposed to do with a real thesis statement. It's not just this, and this, like you learned in high school doing the 3-part thesis statement for your 5-paragraph essay. You'll notice in the ad analysis and in the song analysis, you could write both of those in a formatted way where they technically look like a 5-paragraph essay, but I want you to not write it like the 5-paragraph essays you wrote in high school. And so you need to understand that you may have 3 body paragraphs, you may have 4, but they all need to flow in a unified argument. It's not just 3 random points that you wanted to make about the ad. They are all building on each other to prove your thesis statement. And so you'll see in these handouts and in the videos as we walk through it, it's going to help you figure it out. You're not going to have any questions about, what do I put in my thesis statement? I'm confused. I seriously just straight up give you formulas for it at first. We're just trying to make it impossible for you to write this wrong, so that when the essays get more complicated, it's going to be easy. You're going to already have all the tools you need. One thing I really want to stress with this, so when you print this out, you should definitely print out the prompts so that you don't have to go back and forth with stuff, especially if you're looking at things from your phone. You want to be able to highlight. Notice how this is in bold. Like, I am serious. This is important. With the ads, like the whole point of this is, what are they trying to sell you that can't be bought? If you answer that question with your thesis statement, if that's where you're going with your whole essay, that's what I want. So it's not just finding the modes of persuasion that are in the ad. It's, what are they trying to sell you and how? Sure, there's some modes of persuasion that they're using, but obviously it's an idea, right? Happiness. You can't buy happiness. I know you think you can. You can't buy being cool. You definitely can't buy being cool. I think you should know this by now. Anyone who tries to buy being cool is so not cool. I'm sorry if any of you are hype beasts in this class. Just don't show me your shoe collection and then I won't know. Gucci belt or slides. Like all of this is going to get fleshed out in the video. And then if you have any other questions, you can either Canvas message them to me, or you can go over it with me on Tuesday when we go over your outlines. But remember, struggle through this. That's how you learn it. You don't learn it by someone handing you all the answers, although I hand you everything but the answers, if that makes sense. The struggling to make something that works is important. That's why like drafting is important. You don't just write one draft of an essay. The other thing though is if you do it right, you can limit how much work you put into it. And that's why doing the outline is really important. I'm not asking you to write like full-on paragraphs in that outline. I'm asking you to do very specific things that will just make it so you're practically writing the essay in the best way possible. So for one thing, you are not going to have an introduction. Like notice right here, no introduction in the final piece, no introduction. Don't do it. Do not write an introduction. I just want a thesis statement at the top in its own paragraph. Don't have the thesis statement be in the first paragraph. The point with this is everyone tries to write their introductions first, and that is such a waste of time. You are going to waste your time if you ever write your introduction first. By the time you're done writing your essay, you could write an introduction in like 3 minutes. And the reason behind that is because you know where you're going already. You know where your essay goes, so you know just the amount of information that you need to give them. I've written introductions, taken 2 hours to write them, and then had to rewrite them at the end because I realized that the scope of my essay was going somewhere else, or that I had to rewrite everything. So like, why waste your time with an introduction? So don't write an introduction for this. We're working on thesis statements and body paragraphs first, like so that content. You need content. So for this outline, if you write a good thesis statement that's on track with what I'm asking you to do, and you write 3 topic sentences that have a claim in them about something that ties back, this is kind of small, I guess. That's probably harder for you to see. And then you provide the evidence that you're going to use for those claims. You've written all the juicy stuff that you need for your ad analysis. And then you can build your analysis of that information after it. Remember how I emphasized for your summaries, it needs to be applicable to what you're talking about, and it needs to be accurate. So like making sure that you do your summaries of the evidence, whether it be quoting or paraphrasing, making sure you do that right means you're not going to be wasting time in your essay, and you'll actually be able to get to the analysis part of it, because remember, this is an analysis assignment. So all of those things, that's what I'm looking for in the assignment. And so just because you get the 2 pages, you're not good. Like, don't just write as much as you can, go take a vape break, write as much as you can, go hit the Juul again, and then come back, type the rest. And you're like, wow, I got it done. I mean, that we're not just going for 2 pages here. The reason why I asked for 2 pages is because that's the least amount of space that you are going to need to be able to get all that information in there. So there's a lot that you need in there. And so if you just fill it with a bunch of fluff, you're going to be wasting space where you needed to explain other things, analyze the material. One thing I do want to say about the thesis statements in this right here, another simple formula: subject, claim, and then reasoning. This is what I want you to have. This could technically work, but this is a very simple thesis statement. And you are going for this because if you have a more complicated thesis statement, that means you're having to flesh out a more complicated argument, which means you're getting more content, you're getting more page length. So you need this because then you're going to prove it. And so for this assignment, you're going to want to write this down because I don't think I have it somewhere else. If your thesis statement is supposed to be subject plus claim plus reasoning equals thesis, well, then that means, well, the subject is the ad, and then that specific ad. And then the claim is what's being perpetuated in society, what is being put forward or encouraged, some social ideal. And then what's your reasoning? So how are they doing that? Write that in your notes, take a picture. And remember, you don't have to write a perfectly articulated thesis statement on your first try. Bullet point what needs to go in your thesis statement, and then you can write it into a fully functioning sentence. Do that with your body paragraphs too. Never just start writing on the spot. Bullet point that stuff out. Like, write what needs to actually go in there, and then organize it and plug it in as it needs to go. You may even realize that, oh crap, well actually I should probably make this point before this other point. But if you already wrote them all out, then that means you're going to have to change up transitional phrases and explaining stuff. And oh crap, I defined a term here and I wanted to move this to the second body paragraph, but I need to define the term up here. Now you're going to have to redo your whole body paragraphs.
I had a question about the thesis statement.
What's up?
So on the ad analysis, it said not to make an introduction. How are we going to present our thesis?
You're just going to drop it in there. I don't need you to introduce it. I already know what the assignment is about. If you look at the beginning of this, that's an introduction right there. You know, this is an introduction. Yours is going to look probably just like that. So this is another thing that people have an issue with, because we're talking about what happens in advertising. And if you just talk about that ad specifically in your introduction, it ends up sounding that like you're trying to sell the product that's in your ad. And then you're not really analyzing it and explaining what's being perpetuated. You're just selling the product yourself, which has defeated your point because you're not outside of it. Now you're a salesman. You've been bought. You were convinced by the ad. So that's another thing to think about. But if you want, you can write a very short one and then just remove it. But it made you feel better. We can also talk about that a little bit more on Tuesday. If it sounds like it's just not making sense, then we can look at your thesis statement and you'll probably see, oh, if I just incorporate this little introductory statement at the beginning of the sentence, it totally works. So we'll see. But yeah, just struggle through it. And that is a good question. I totally feel you on that, man. I've been there so many times. I'm just trying to get you guys to dodge the potholes and cliffs that I fell off of while trying to write essays in college. You'll see later and you'll be like, oh, okay, this was a better route. Let's talk about choosing the ads, because this is different than in the video. The video tells you that you're going to have to find your own ad. That was problematic because your generation, I'm going to talk shit right now, your generation is really indecisive about things. You guys just can't choose something. And when I say your generation, yes, I am stereotyping you. So if you're like, that's not me, I'm not a Zoomer or whatever you are, like, yeah, it's a stereotype. It's blanket statementing you guys. But the whole thing is I was having a really hard time getting students to just find an ad that they could go with. These are one-page printed ads. So what I ended up doing was I just found all the ads myself and I'm making you guys pick. So this is what you guys are going to do by the end of today, as well as with your RLD notes. You need to pick an ad and commit to it. So first off, you have this. It's going to take a while to load. All right, so the reason why I'm doing this, because this will make things easier for you. So first off, you have your ad choices. So you click on the PDF and there are 55 ads in here. What I would suggest to you is downloading this doc and then scrolling through it. It'll be easier to see. You'll be able to look at the fine print because you can blow it up bigger, but open it in its own PDF page and then have this open in another tab, ad claiming for ad analysis assignment. So when you click on this, you'll see these are the directions that I'm requiring of you in order to choose your ad, because I don't want to read like a bunch of essays on the same ad. You guys all need to pick different ads. So in order to do that, this is also helping you, right? I've narrowed it down to 55 ads. Some of these aren't as good as others. Remember, you're not just looking for the tactics that they're using to persuade the audience, the consumer. You're also looking for what's being perpetuated in society. Sometimes it's a good thing. Other times it's a bad thing. So look through the ads and pick a good one, but it's first come, first serve here. So see that, have it in bold. So what you're going to do is you're going to look through these ads, and so long as no one else has picked an ad, this is, by the way, how you do it. So you're going to have a brief description of the ad, which is as simple as Subway ad with big French fries. Like that's all I'm asking you to say. Say you claimed it. Number 14, which by the way, that's the page number. So if I go to page number 14, there it is, right? So you say number 14, Subway ad is claimed, right? So you have to look through this list to make sure that someone hasn't claimed the ad you want to use. If you want to change your ad because in hindsight, you're like, you know what, I can't get 3 solid arguments to build this case out of this ad, then you have to post, I have relinquished my claims on this ad, and then pick another ad. And then that way people can see what's been claimed and what's been relinquished or, given back to the pool of ads to use. So if you have this open side by side, you won't have to go back and forth as you figure out what's been taken and what's available. There's some really good ads in here. Just because it has more writing doesn't mean it's better. Sometimes there's just not enough going on in the ad, but other times it's like there's a ton going on here. That is going to become more clear as you watch the videos though. So you're in week 2, Thursday. You did all this stuff. You're going to watch some videos that cover this and kind of directs you as we go into the prompt as to like how it's relevant. So some of the concepts that you found in the treadmill of consumption and everything now are going to be things that you might be able to utilize in the ad analysis. One thing that I need to note here as well, because sometimes people just don't figure it out, there's always like 2 or 3 students that do this. You are not bringing in any outside information. You are just analyzing this single page ad. There is one ad that has 2 pages to it. It's like this manga mascara, and it's got like 2 pages to it, but you can tell that's it. But all the rest are just 1 page. You're not supposed to go and find out about the company on their Wikipedia page or all these other details. You're only going with common knowledge stuff. You're only talking about what's common knowledge and what is in the ad itself. And that's supposed to make you exercise analysis here. So like what is in the ad that's doing that thing? Now, you know what's in society, what's a common belief or ideology, and you see it in the ad. The ad isn't the thing that made that up. The ad is just going with it to manipulate you. Yeah, what you got, Tony?
So we don't use anything from the past 2 assignments, like to cite reasons why?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to talk about a concept that was in one of the readings, it's okay to bring that in if you want. You don't have to, though. So this is what I mean by that. What's one of the concepts that was in one of the readings?
Maslow's law was the whole concept.
Yeah, there you go. So Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? So we're going over wants versus needs. See the concept right there? That's a huge concept because you don't need any product, even if it's something that you actually need. Why would you need the name brand product when you can go get the Walmart version or the Kirkland brand one or whatever? By the way, you don't even need toilet paper. You know, other countries, they use watering spouts. The thing that you use to like water flowers in pots, people use those to wash their butts off. They don't even use toilet paper. Did you know that? So all I'm saying is like wants versus needs, first understanding that is a huge concept when you're looking at these ads. But then if you don't really even need their product, even if it's a need kind of product, like, well, you need to eat or something, they still are trying to sell you on why buy their product. And that's where you're getting a lot of other stuff going on there. And so things like status come into play or being a good person. And I put a couple of these examples on the prompt. This product will make you beautiful, sexy, healthy, successful, cool, happy, etc. Good even. Like these are things that no one can sell you at all. Well, health might, but you'll see when you look at some of them, if they're talking about health, you're like, is this just like a magical thing that's going to make me healthy? Right? So anyway, I think you guys are already starting to get the point of some of that stuff. But like you said, Tony, if there is a concept in one of the readings that we went over, they don't actually own that concept. So the only reason why you would want to quote them is either if they said it in a way that can't be articulated better, or if they coined the term or whatever. That guy didn't coin the term of wants versus needs. You can refer to Maslow's hierarchy, but a lot of that stuff can be summarized in a way where it's public domain common knowledge. So you can refer to that stuff, but you don't even need to quote it for this essay. If you really feel like you need to, go for it. But you can refer to it in ways where you don't even need to quote that stuff or give someone, credit for it, unless it is a quote. And then you definitely give them credit for it. Don't just copy and paste. Does that make sense? Yeah. And I'm really glad you asked that question. So referring back to those 2 readings, before I send you off on your disturbed way, we're going to talk over the 2 quotes really quick. In the video, there's a free write on it. So you could even start your free write now. This is where I think the first video starts, first or second video. So that will go in your RLD notes, like a free write on this. The directions are right here. So pick one of the quotes below and explain what it means. Do you agree or disagree, and why? So you can choose one or the other. The second one is a little bit harder to understand. So just write on it for like 3 to 4 minutes. And just remember, I'm looking for content. It could be like 3 or 4 sentences. It doesn't have to be a full page because you were just writing nonstop for 3 to 4 minutes. I'm looking for a thought on this that will help you in looking at the assignment ahead. So there's 26 people here right now. So do you agree or disagree with this one? There are no reasons for owning or wanting a Lamborghini, Ferrari, Maserati, or the like that will not also prove why you are a douchebag. I bring this up in every one of my classes because I want to know if anyone has a reason for why they should own one of those, where that reason doesn't also prove why, not them, but their friend, right? It's not your reason why you would own it. It's your friend's reason. That way, we're not trying to say you're a douchebag. We're trying to say the person with that reason is a douchebag by giving that reason. Oh, so use it as a hustle. You buy the car and then you sell it to make money off of it. You know, that works for Rolexes and stuff like that, but cars actually go down in value faster than anything there is. You guys can chime in right now too. Like not just in the chat. Remember, you can say, well, this isn't my reason. You could say, this is a reason that I thought of. That's fine, right? No one's going to get down on you and call you a douchebag. But can you find a reason to own one of these? Come on, anybody. More girls will like me. What kind of girls will like you with that car? What kind of girl are you going to get with that car? She only likes you because of the car. I get that it was a joke, by the way. There's got to be some good reasons to own one of those. I know there's several people out there that have the poster of one of those cars on their wall, probably. There's got to be. Or someone who has car magazines and they've talked with their friends about how they wish they had one of those.
Maybe the speed.
Okay, that's a good possibility. You want to be able to go fast like Ricky Bobby. Can you drive those cars as fast as they can go on normal streets, like legally?
Illegally,
No.
yes.
No.
Yeah. What happens if you drive one of those cars as fast as, let's say, should be driven? Let's say you do that on normal streets. What are you doing?
It's not safe because what if something happens, car crash or
It's
whatever?
against the law.
Yeah, first of all, it's
Breaking
against
the law.
Yeah, it's against the law, but it's against the law because you can hurt people, right? You totally nailed it there. So if you're willing to drive that car like it should be driven, but on public streets,
You're a douchebag.
you're a douchebag. Yep. Any other reasons? That was a good reason, right?
I might
To
have
look at.
one.
What do you got?
So you were handed down from your douchebag uncle.
Oh, see, that's different. We're talking about, yeah, I did say wanting. So to be fair, you're good there. But I'm talking about like purchasing, really. I see. For wanting, should I? Kind of drags the statement out even further. It's already a dragged out statement. If I add like purchasing, like wanting to own, right? So if you get one handed down to you, then you could just sell it, or you could.
Right. And
I
it
mean-
would be monetary.
Sure. And there's
Beneficial.
but there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that you wanted to own it. It's just that you had it handed down to you and now you just made some money.
Yeah. So handing down, I think, is probably the only exception, because if your great 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 grandpa owned the Model T and now it's been handed down, it's almost now an heirloom.
Oh, for
Stays in
sure.
the family. So that kind of makes sense. But as far as buying it for me or purchasing, my friend purchases it, yeah. Douchebag.
Right? Well, I mean, think about it. First of all, you don't need to spend that much on a car. How much are you spending on some of those? Like if you look at a McLaren, what could you buy instead of one of those?
A house.
You could buy a house. So there's one thing, buying yourself a house would be a better investment, goes up in value, sure. But what about if, let's say you decide to buy one of these cars, but your mom doesn't have a house, or your sibling or someone in need doesn't have a house, but you chose to buy that car when you could have bought them a house. Yeah. I mean, you could just say, well, it's my money. And it's like, yeah, Yeah, it is your money, sure. But like you are still choosing some ridiculous thing for yourself that you don't actually need over helping someone who does need. Makes sense? I'm sure there's more complicated arguments here, but that's a little taste of where we're going with some of that stuff. That's in the Jake Paul video.
But isn't this question almost not attainable to any of us at this moment?
It isn't, but there is stuff like it, right? It's not just about Ferraris. What's something that you don't really need, but you totally like buy instead of
Frito-Lays.
That's true. No one needs to eat chips.
Could you see that like maybe buying a Frito-Lay could cause pollution for the reason that polluters like food processing plants are one of the biggest polluters on this planet?
Yeah, we'll see. You're already taking it to like the most practical level. We're going to hit that a little bit better in the essay 2, I think. But yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, it goes there. You guys clearly did the reading. So that's good. That's going to help you make sense of a lot of stuff. Or when you're looking at these ads, you're going to be like, oh, this is where I can go with it, right? Because it could be, you know, a flex kind of thing in the ad, or it could be something having to do with this will make me beautiful or sexy or something like that. If you look at what that's doing, because now you're basing it off of, well, what is beautiful and what is sexy? These are standards built by society in ways that are like, do you really want to perpetuate that? Because that's what the ad is doing. So it's trying to sell you something that it knows that you want, but it's really just continuing this idea in society that's actually problematic. So some of the ads don't do that. They actually push against it, but they're still just trying to make money. And that's why they're doing it, right? They're getting on the feminist side of it or the empowerment, whatever kind of thing. But remember, they're still just trying to sell you soap. Like they're just trying to sell you their product and make you think that they're awesome so that you'll buy their product instead of someone else's. Anyway, we'll talk more about this stuff later too, but you guys had some good stuff in there. Okay, I don't want to take up any more of your time, so you guys are free to go. Just I'm not joking. You definitely, if you want to get through the material, the best way to do it is to do it with the videos. I don't think you can actually do it without the videos because they like walk you through what I'm asking. I give you more detail, but make sure you try to do the stuff through the video, like pause the video and try to give the answer. And then that way, when you hear the answer in the video and it's right, you're like, oh, okay, cool. I'm on the right track. Or if it's wrong, then you're like, okay, what am I not thinking about properly with this writing skill or concept? So ad analysis and then song analysis. They are very simple essays, but there's a lot that I want you to do these well, like at a level that is way higher than just writing something off the cuff. Like I want you to be critically thinking about these concepts, because if you get this down and you do this well, these are the hardest concepts to get. And then when we get to like research assignments, you'll have all the hardest part down, and it will just be finding good sources and things like that. So trust me on this, it will get easier.
When you said essay, I just blocked myself out. I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit more on it.
Imagine you're writing like a 5-paragraph essay from high school kind of thing. So like something simple like that. We're just starting where it kind of looks like that. You know, you may just have 3 body paragraphs to write this thing. Maybe you have more. You'll at least have 3 body paragraphs. So it's like you're working with a model that you're familiar with, but it's going to be better. We're going to do it differently. And what I would say is don't freak out about that if you go and you look at the outline. So don't worry about the essay yet. Just think about this, right? So I walk you through thesis statements in one video. I walk you through topic sentences and body paragraph kind of content. So what I would do first is I would watch the first 4 videos, then look at the ads and find one that you like, and then go and try to work through the next 4 videos and the assignment with topic sentences and body paragraph unity and the thesis statement one. Try to come up with a thesis statement based off of that stuff. Don't worry about the essay yet. Just worry about doing this outline. Once you do this outline and then we walk through stuff a little bit more in class on Tuesday, you should have no issue in building content for it. So this is like baby stepping through a 2-page essay for this first assignment. That's what it is. You're writing 400 words for your reading responses. This is just supposed to be 500 words. It's not supposed to be too much for you to handle right away. So don't freak out because I said the word essay. You'll have this, you'll be good. You'll be able to handle it. Just do the step-by-step aspect of it so that you don't freak out. You'll know what you need to do. And if you have any questions after you get to the point where you think you have a good outline, but you're just not sure, you can ask me. You can even like send that to me. I'll look at it for you, or we can just look at it in class on Tuesday.
Okay, sounds good. I
Okay.
got it.
Cool.
Thank
Yeah, no problem. All right, that's it. Have a good rest of your day.